We're live. Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a good day. Good day to do an AMA.
Why has it been so good?
Had some pretty good conversations.
Nice.
Got to visit with Robin, so that's always
Oh,
fun.
good. What's going on with him?
We were working on some audio stuff.
Of course you were. I don't even know why I asked.
Yeah, I like your shirt. Where'd you get that from?
I don't even know. I really don't know. Wish I could tell you.
Yeah, pretty slick.
Thank you.
Nice. How's your day been?
It's interesting. Not great. Um, with a show like this, I don't think people typically want to hear about sad or negative things, but maybe they do, so I'll tell them anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, yesterday we had to put one of our cats down. So it's hard. This cat's been in my life for 8 years now, but my wife has had this cat for 20. So for me, it was of course sad, but for her, it was extremely sad. An animal that's been in her life for well over half of her life, and been there through so many things, good and bad. So she's having a tough go, as you can imagine.
Wow, 20 years. That's cats are resilient.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very resilient.
Got a comment here. Jason Rum, what's up, guys? Hey, Jason, thanks for watching.
How's it going, Jason?
Yeah, that's always a bummer. Our cat, we had one cat, and that cat was with me for 10 years or so. I actually adopted that cat. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it did not come home one day. And we were living, I mean, just right by where we live now, but in another house, and that house had a big field in front of us, and you could hear coyotes in there in the evenings. So very likely possibly did not come back based on that.
Yeah, that's the challenge, man. I've always, since I was early teenager, my family's always had cats, and I've lost many of them over the years as a result. They don't last forever, of course, but yeah, it's tough. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could argue it's a good way to grow as a person. You're learning to cope with loss and learning to be able to move on, which is important, right?
Yep. For those of you who are watching the playback of this, because there's only a few folks that are actually watching live right now, for those that are watching the playback, myself and Kyle are jumping on Friday afternoonish. I'm going to do Ask Me Anything. We are, for those who don't know us, we are the solutions engineers for F5 in Western Canada, myself being based in Vancouver and Kyle being based in Calgary. And we have a open head count for the Northern Alberta and Prairies region as well. And maybe one day that person will join us on this AMA. But we're here to answer questions about F5, or we can answer questions about pets, loss, investing, pizza.
Yes.
Speaking of pizza, Kyle's got his show coming out.
Yes, I do.
Thanks
for thanks for doing that. Yeah, in fact, I'm just about to publish the first episode right now.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to that. Uh-oh, here we go. We got a listener question from Jason. How do you set up and manage your inbox for success? I've never found a solution that works long term. I gotta confess I'm in the same boat, Jason. Mine gets pretty unwieldy. Sometimes I actually just cleaned it up this week, and I'm somewhat caught up on emails. The last couple months have been pretty rough on the inbox. So getting back to it. Do you have any tips there, Kyle?
I mean, I think Inbox management is a great question. I think everybody's requires something a little different. I don't think there's a one size fits all. That's for sure. I don't know if I'm unique, but I do have a few folders where certain items go. But for the most part, I let everything just come into my inbox. And I'll, I get a decent volume of email, but I'll sort through. I'm kind of admittedly, I'm a little anal about my email. I kind of have to at least read everything that comes in. If I see something that comes in that requires some action, I'll flag it. And then I'll just move on and continue reading other emails. And then I'll revisit the ones or just one perhaps that does require action on my part. So I personally have always had success with that. I never feel like I'm overwhelmed with email or I'm falling behind or whatnot. I'll just flag those items that I need to address or respond to or actually read in depth because it'll improve my knowledge of something. But otherwise, I'll just kind of skim through the rest of things and let it go. It's not perfect, but I've had a lot of success with it personally. So.
Yeah. So the ones that you fire off into a folder, do you read those daily or certain interval or just file them away for archival?
Yeah. So there used to be more distribution lists that we had that would get filed off into those folders because of the way they were formatted. But now with the way we've adopted some of the groups in Outlook, they just come in actually directly into my inbox. So the amount of folders I have now that actually are used for just organization is very minimal. Like internally at F5, we have a concept or a suite of a way of managing our customer support cases. So it's called Watch My SRs. So of course I have a folder that takes all of those because that can get very chatty if there's a lot of cases going on, a lot of updates going on. I can't have that in my general inbox. It's too overwhelming. So really at this point, that's actually the only folder I use for organization other than my inbox. Everything else now just goes to my general inbox and I just flag things accordingly. And at this point, I have hundreds of thousands of emails in my inbox, but all of them have either been read and dealt with, or most recently in this last week, there'll be a bunch that are flagged that require me to go back. So again, what I'm describing right now probably sounds crazy to some. They would say, yeah, there's no way I can do that, but that's what works for me. And I'm not planning on changing it anytime soon.
So do you archive at all?
Never.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Realistically, that's how I manage my Gmail, because Gmail is I find it, they tend to structure it like that. You could do the folders and you can do the labels, but I think they structure it in a way where really if you have things tagged properly, you could just leave everything in an inbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was always a folder, like shove things into a folder kind of guy. I still mainly do that. And then, when we had back in the day in like the 2000s where you could only have a mailbox size of like a couple hundred megs, then you're just doing PST archives all the time.
Yep. Thankfully for us, it's no such issue, right? Like what's our capacity? We could have
terabytes or something.
Yeah. Like I don't even know if there is a limit anymore, right?
No, it's just in the cloud. So cloud has
actually there is 99 gigabytes is our limit.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I have 82 gigabytes free right now.
Nice.
So I'm in no risk of running out anytime soon.
Yeah, I think they might be doing automatic archival for us too, or maybe that's just a feature of Office 365, just doing like an automatic long-term archival.
Probably is. Yeah, I would agree with you.
That's probably how they can advertise that we have this 99 gig quota.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how you feeling after Agility? Pretty relieved to get that over with, hey?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it. This is the first time for me personally, being involved throughout the entire life cycle of Agility Lab. My very first year at F5, I was told. So this is a real behind the curtain moment, but because I was only approximately 2 weeks in. I was working with Robin at the time on his lab. I got involved like day 2 on F5, and agility was 2 weeks later. And I was told by Robin, yeah, don't tell anybody, like the customers, don't tell them that you're only 2 weeks in, and they might not get the best vibe from that. So I didn't, of course, but that was one that I was just kind of thrown into. I wasn't involved in any of the preliminary planning. I wasn't really heavily involved in, the architecture of the lab. We were just reusing a blueprint. I ended up putting in a ton of work in those 2 weeks, more so than most could, because I was just starting. I didn't have a whole bunch of engagements, and other things that would distract me. So that was a really fun experience. But this year got to be involved with my team, coming up with the lab premise, coming up with the blueprint of the lab, coming up with the lab guide, starting from scratch, delivering the lab in presentation format. So literally everything from A to Z. So I was so proud of the result that the team put together. And, Buu, you were involved in the delivery of the lab itself. You did awesome too. I'm just
part of it.
Yeah, thanks. We were lucky to have you for sure too. It was just one of those things that I felt really proud that we accomplished what we did. We have a great lab that's reusable by everyone else at F5 that I've already heard a few of our colleagues have used and use it in a successful manner, which is really nice to hear. So all good things. Happy to be over with. I'm looking forward to hearing more from the leadership, though, to kind of get a gauge of how our lab did and what the customers thought.
Yeah, as far as reusing it, I plan to either, I'm pretty sure it'll be that one, or I'm going to look through again. I think there might have been another one, would be the first one that, like now that we have our UDF system for the F5 customers who were listening or watching that weren't part of Agility, we have a demo system. We call it Unified Demo Framework, which allows us to deliver all this stuff, and it's backed by Google Cloud Platform, but it's got a front end that's being designed by F5, and that will allow us to deliver labs to people. So folks that are used to our user groups doing labs, they would have been used to the Ravello platform, which is gone. Oracle spent a bunch of money so that they could kill it. And there's no more Ravello, but we have our UDF platform and we can deliver via that. I shouldn't say Oracle killed it for no reason. They probably took intellectual property from it and then
I'm sure
then collapsed it into Oracle Cloud.
Pretty much. It's
so
one of those things. It went extremely well. Really relieving to be over with, though.
Yeah, it was definitely, your guys' lab was really well polished. I think a lot of folks that went to Agility would have been very satisfied with that, but we'll see what the survey results are. So for folks who don't know what we're talking about at Agility, they usually have a bit of an internal competition for the SEs, like myself and Kyle, for the survey results. So during the labs, you'll hear us actually pester almost the attendees to fill out your surveys, and those surveys will go towards overall rankings for how the labs do. And then that allows us to have our bragging rights at the end of Agility.
Yeah. We mostly do it, of course, to provide a valuable product to our customers, but having that little carrot of competition between us is actually always, in my opinion, it's always healthy, right? Gives you a little bit more reason to polish it and gives you a little bit more reason to do your best. And I mean, the rewards we're talking about here are very minuscule at the end of the day. So that's really not why anybody is pushing hard. But it's nice to have those little rewards, right? A little recognition for all the hard work you put in.
Yeah. So for folks that are tuning in via YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe below, because next week I will have on Ethan Banks, who is a celebrity in the world of IT networking media. He's founder of packetpushers.net, him along with Greg Farrow from Ethereal Mind. And Ethan has been a voice that I've listened to for hours thanks to the Packet Pushers podcast. So I'm pretty excited to have him on next week. Should be real fun.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
That's your biggest star yet, I would think, right?
You know what? It's hard to measure because when I look at Tanya Janka from 2 weeks ago, a week ago, she has 30,000 Twitter followers, and I think 40,000 followers on LinkedIn, maybe 20,000. Whereas Ethan may be a little bit more low key on that, but he still has 20,000 followers on Twitter. So I don't know how to judge that because I have followed Ethan Banks for way longer than Tanya. So I have a perception of Ethan being a bigger personality, but I guess it depends completely on perspective.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Were you a Packet Pushers listener?
Yeah. I not frequently, but definitely being, coming from the network space, you always would find either articles or references to Packet Pushers no matter what you were doing. So at the end of the day, Ethan and Greg, those guys, just seem kind of larger than life to some degree.
Yeah, I kind of wonder that, like, how many people, percentage-wise, if you were in network engineering to some degree, how likely is it that you've come across one of their articles? I would put it at over 75%.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, I would absolutely agree with you. They're just involved in so many things. The other ones are from a networking background. Like those two guys come to mind right away, and then there's only a few others for me personally. One would be a guy named Ivan Popelniak, from I don't even remember the name of his blog anymore, but exactly. So I would always come across his content, which was always so polished. He really could see what he was also an author for Cisco Press too, right? So that guy really knew what he was doing. So maybe he should be a future target for you.
I don't know how they manage the time zone because I think he's in Norway or Finland.
Yeah, probably. Could be a little tricky.
Yeah. Time zone. I try to book these for midday. Well, actually, no, I try to book these for afternoons, the community edition of Boo's Hour. And then I actually try to book the cloud edition more in the mornings. Just strategically, just trying to spread things out and hopefully catch people at whatever time works, because the reason why I do it live is I want to be able to field questions during the calls.
Exactly. That's the best part. Getting people who can in real time engage, right? Like the way Jason just engaged with us. He didn't have to wait a week for an answer or days. He got an answer right away.
Yes.
That's the beauty.
Yeah, and so we'll be on live. Myself and Daryl will be on live on Monday morning. I think 8:30 we're going to go live, and we'll do our weekly update live as much as we can. So I'll be in Whistler not this weekend, but the next weekend. So I'll probably have to do a pre-record, going back to pre-recording, and then releasing and uploading, or uploading and releasing. Although this is very dependent on network bandwidth, because some of those uploads get to be like 2 gigs in size. So
pretty large.
Yeah. So we'll see if that's at 1080p and gets to about 2 gigs in size. So I got to see if I can figure out how to get that uploaded, because I don't think I can tether and pull that off reliably.
That'd be a little tricky.
Yeah.
But I think the odd exception where you're pre-recording should be okay.
Yes. Well, it just might be late. We'll see. Yeah. What else have you been up to?
Not much really. Again, I've just been busy with editing, but thankfully I'm all done the editing. That was a grueling process. Just the learning curve, right? Trying to understand all of the pieces of in my case and in your case, Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a phenomenal product, right? You can do so much, but because you can do so much, you can also kind of go down rat holes trying to perfect something or to try a new way of interacting, right? So yeah, it's been a huge learning curve, but it's actually been so rewarding, just to kind of go through those motions, learn along the way. It's a little bit addictive for me, just because as I mentioned to you before, sometimes in certain areas of my life, I kind of feel like I can become a bit of a perfectionist. So, if I am editing something like this, I want every little piece to be just perfect as much as I can. And it can be very frustrating when maybe I'm not able to get it perfect because of lack of skill set or didn't have the right content to make it perfect, but doing my best.
Yep.
Other than that, though, I'm also got a basement renovation underway right now. So have actually had contractors here for most of the week. Did majority of the work with respect to electrical, the framing, all that stuff was done earlier this year and last year by myself and a friend of mine. So that was a great learning experience. And then I am naive, so I wanted to take on the task of doing drywall myself, but I was told pretty definitively that that's a bad idea. So yeah, I decided to suck it up, and I hired a contractor to come hang the drywall, and now they're just coming back and forth doing the mudding and taping and all that good stuff. And after seeing how messy and how just downright nasty this stuff is, I'm really glad I didn't try to do this, because I can already see I would have been so frustrated.
And it was that like a finishing of your basement, or you're refinishing or moving walls around?
Yeah, so my basement when I bought this house was completely unfinished. We bought it with the intention of maybe doing something someday. And then, of course, that someday came where we needed more space. We wanted to have a little bit more seclusion, maybe have our offices down there where it's a little more potentially quiet, a little cooler. So, yeah, we just decided to start it and have fun and learn along the way. And it's been great. I've learned a ton about construction and how to do things that I never thought I would have to do before. So it's been good.
Yeah,
now there's more space for a guest or more privacy down there to watch a movie, and yeah, just good stuff, right? I'm really looking forward to the finished product.
Are you so where's your office now? Was it already in the basement?
No, my office is upstairs on the second level of our home. And not that that's necessarily a problem. It's just we only have 3 bedrooms. So one for wife and I, one for our son, third is an office. That leaves nothing for a guest, right? So that's always been a bit of a pain point. So we just decided we got to do something about that. And for us, making use of some of that dead space in the basement is the perfect answer.
Yeah. So I've had this discussion with folks, but everybody has this idea that after COVID that everybody's going to be working from home. But I have a theory that it's not going to be as dramatic as everyone thinks, because people have figured out that they don't want to be at home, or in the case of like a downtown Vancouver or downtown Calgary, where they don't have an unfinished basement that they could finish. They don't have the space, and they've been working off of their kitchen table, and they're tired of that, and they want to actually go to the office. That's my theory anyways. I think there's still going to be a place for lots of office workers. And I'm also hearing people say, you know what, I miss the banter of the office, and they did actually like going in, and they did actually like commuting, even though everybody complains about commuting. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see.
I would absolutely agree. I think this, I have no doubt in my mind that the shift in the workforce to being, primarily a remote workforce for the last few months. I know this has been spoken and discussed probably ad nauseum at this point, but I believe this is, for some organizations, this is going to be a real point of reflection where they will maybe come to realize that this is perhaps a more cost efficient way forward, maybe a more productive way forward for certain portions of their organization, perhaps. I have no doubt that there are certain departments that would be much better suited to working, of course, in an office setting where they can better collaborate. Perhaps certain disciplines, certain careers, or certain occupations that, of course, require being in an office, whether that's shipping and receiving or things of that kind, right, where you need to be physically present. But I look forward to seeing the changes that come about as a result of this. I know it was kind of a real unfortunate way to spawn such a change, but sometimes that's what it takes, right?
Yeah. It's something that came up on my Thursday live stream with Bearsty, and he talked about the future of work. And that's one thing that he was considering is, connecting startups to engineer. What he works on now is connecting startups to engineers, and he has a really interesting way of doing it and a business around it. But also just connecting people that could be anywhere and getting them in front of startups where startups wouldn't normally have the network to find all these people. We have Rick Salsa on our weekly update on Monday, and he's in Kelowna.
Him on?
He's going to be on Monday.
Oh, he's from Kelowna?
He's in Kelowna.
Oh, interesting.
And and he works for F5, and he's a remote worker in a position that, I don't know how they got it out there. I think he actually just found the posting, realized it was remote, you could work anywhere, and he applied for it and got it. And he's a very smart guy, so he deserved the position entirely, but he's always been a remote worker and flies in when he really needs to, but, he doesn't always really need to for his position. So there's, definitely going to be cases like that for sure. And now with the stuff he works on, he has a team that's very broadly spread out, working on cloud services and Nginx, where some of the guys are in Israel, I guess, way different time zones, still collaborating with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. He can, for all intents and purposes, be anywhere, right? Doesn't have to be Kelowna. It could be Antarctica, really, right?
Yeah.
As long as they have internet.
Yep. He's got internet there for sure. Well, maybe we'll land the plane now. What I'll mention is that, first of all, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. Second of all, we are doing this AMA, Ask Me Anything, as a form of just making sure that we can respond to people when they have questions and just opening ourselves to that. But at the same time, as we just get this going and, until we hit that critical point of mass popularity, and right now we're just at modest popularity. I'm open to having ideas for things that we can do on here to even entertain people, if that's what it takes for you to have a nicer Friday afternoon. So
it's a good idea. Maybe we could do like play Hangman, or we could play chess or something, maybe.
Yeah. We're free to interact with you, however. So those are the things I'll leave everyone with. If anyone has an idea for something that would just brighten up your Friday afternoon, I'm all for that. Or if you have F5 related questions, we're definitely all for that as well.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, subscribe. Kyle, you have your YouTube channel to promote?
You betcha. So I think Buu already threw an advertisement up at the bottom ticker there, but yeah, my YouTube channel is called A Slice of Security. It's a YouTube series that will be interviewing guests from most primarily my region in Southern Alberta, but perhaps growing beyond that at some point. Really about everything related to cybersecurity. Each episode has a very specific, fun topic that we talk about. But really what sets this show apart is we actually have fun doing it, and we actually review and rate a pizza at the same time. So we eat pizza, we review the pizza, we talk about cybersecurity, and we get into the weeds about a very specific cybersecurity topic. and to share best practices, agnostic. One of the things that I really enjoy about it is just getting the chance to learn from other people out there who've already gone through some trials and tribulations, and it's been a great experience so far. And yeah, look forward to anybody who's willing to subscribe and anybody wants to check it out. Please do.
Cool. Sounds good. We have one comment here from Jason Rom. Wheel Unfortunate from Dude Perfect. Okay, we will look that up and evaluate this. I don't know if it sounds like a great idea based on what it's called, but I will promise that I will look at it and we will discuss this. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We had a few folks on there today. The numbers are up.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So otherwise, you'll be able to watch the replay for this on my channel, youtube.com/Daryl and Buu. Like we can always copy it over to Kyle's channel as well. And yeah, otherwise you can catch my other live streams on this channel, Kyle on his channel, and you can catch the both of us next Friday. All right. Thanks oh, maybe not next Friday. I'll be in Whistler. All right.
Okay. Well,
thanks,
maybe
everybody.
not next Friday.
See you later. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.